Hey guys, I'm gonna give you a few minutes to come on. I hope I didn't pick a place that's too loud. I think I'm gonna roll these windows up for a few minutes. I know I've not been on in 2 weeks. I kind of took some time for myself. I already have a thumbs up, but I don't. Oh, there you are, whoever you are. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day, guys. It has been a long day. It's been a long 2 weeks, actually. So, I actually got to go spend some time with Miss Evelyn today and Mike and several people that I had spent a lot of time with in my previous life. I spent a lot of time with them when I was getting my habitat house, when I had my family intact. That's the time period of my life where Miss Evelyn came from. Hey Ray, how you doing? I really liked your text today, Ray. I didn't get to respond to that because I was actually out of cell range, and I saw your text and I didn't get to respond to it. Also, somehow I've changed my QWERTY board on my texting, and my little microphone is gone, so my text-to-speech capabilities are not there at the moment. So before it was so much easier, before it was so much easier to go down the road and hit my little microphone and just say whatever I was going to say, and now I have to literally pull over and text because I am definitely not going to text while I'm driving. Not to say that I have not done that before, because I have. I'm guilty. I think a lot of people are guilty of that. So, anyway, I'm coming to you from Newport, Tennessee. I hope the signal's okay. I tried to find a location that would be okay. I'm out in front of the Harley shop. What better place to be, right? And the coin laundry. I did not do my clothes here because they do not have free Wi-Fi here. I do my clothes at another location here in town. And I'm not sure where I'm getting the speaker noise from. So, is everything coming through okay, guys? Because I know you're going to let me know. I hope it is. If it isn't, it's too late for that already. So, yeah, so what's been going on with me? As I said in my video earlier today, thank you, thanks for the feedback. Been going through a pretty stout depression. I've dealt with depression off and on all of my life. I'm going to open these back windows, see if I can anyway. Gotta let some air in here without too much road noise. Anyway, been through lots of depression, beginning from the time I guess I was about 9 years old forward. I have bouts of suicidal tendencies. And when that band came out, Suicidal Tendencies, I absolutely loved it. But it doesn't happen often, just it happens often enough. I've had to deal with it several times. I've actually been hospitalized 2 times before. In my teenage years, I was hospitalized. Yes, I'm just opening up and letting you guys know because somebody needs to. Somebody needs to. It's real, okay? Things get to a certain level of, gosh, I don't even know how to put it. It gets to a certain level of, it's like a spiral. Everyday normal things that you deal with, oh, I can't stand that sound. Everyday normal things that you might deal with become more than what you can handle. And I'm a pretty tough girl. I can deal with a lot of things. I don't think I'm like mega strong or anything, but I can deal with a lot of things. And when this happens, I really don't have any control over it. That's the sad part. I'm a fighter, and when this happens to me, I become my own worst enemy, and it's almost like there's two of me, and one of me just wants to leave here. And I get in this struggle, I get in this fight. My closest friends know about this, um, and I do have a support system. So I guess I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago when I was working on my water heater. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you'll know about that. Things just, everyday normal things became gigantic, and all of a sudden, you know, it was just like, I can't handle this anymore. And everyday normal things become huge. And anyway, it's almost like you have, I started a few minutes before 7, Eddie. Yeah, I started about 5 minutes before. So it's almost as if it's just a spiral. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like being in a whirlwind all on the inside of me. And all of a sudden, I have thoughts in my mind like, I'm done with this. I can't stand this anymore. I can't take this anymore. The first time it happened, I was 14 years old. And I took a bottle of pills. I took an entire bottle of pills all at once. Like, just the whole bottle. Prior to that, from the time I was 11 years old, hey Michael, from the time I was 11 years old up until the 14-year-old moment that things happened, I actually did cut my wrists. Not huge, big, gaping holes. Just, I guess it was kind of like an experiment with cutting. I listened to, what's the name of that band? Oh my gosh, it just went out of my head. The ones that do Stairway to Heaven, and I used to listen to that stuff over and over again. Back then we had headphones or whatever. Anyway, I had recurring dreams, nightmares. They were nightmares, yes. Led Zeppelin. So I can safely say from the time I was 11 to until I finally did commit suicide. I tried to commit suicide. I was in that frame of mind, and it never left me. They knew at the school that something was wrong. Pretty much everybody around me knew that I was extremely depressed, and they didn't understand it, and I didn't understand it. There was nothing really that you could say except my home environment. So during my school years, when I went to see guidance counselors and things like that, back then they always looked at your environment. They didn't necessarily look for an imbalance back then. They didn't really know about that. They always just looked at your environment, and my environment wasn't the best. My parents did the best they could, but it wasn't the best. So people are looking at me like, what the heck is she doing? Whatever. So anyway, that was my first suicide attempt. I took a bottle of pills. My dad came in my room after a little bit. My dad never ever came into my room, ever. You know, they just didn't do that, but for some reason he came in there. And I had taken that whole bottle, and he kind of, I don't know, he just kind of clued in on it. He's like, what's going on? And then they ended up taking me to the ER, and of course I had to ingest all that stuff, and I went into a hospital for 30 days, I guess it was. So, and I went through, hello. So I went through that. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think environment is more prone to produce the triggers that cause the spiral. So, anyway, that was the first time. And they didn't have medications back then to put you on, except nerve pills. And they didn't put teenagers on nerve pills back then. So I went through inpatient services, and then I went through outpatient services. They had counseling, they had a psychologist, all this stuff. The very next year, 1 year later, actually right after that happened, I ran away from home. And I stayed gone. I was being tracked by a truancy officer. I didn't give a crap. I was gone. But exactly 1 year later, I got put back into the same facility. I didn't try to commit suicide at that point. It was because I had ran away from home, and I had a miscarriage, and my mom was trying to get me back home. Hey, Dan. It's good to see you guys. So I do realize that this is very personal information, but I'm trying to explain to everybody why I have not been on here. And if things kind of went back downhill again, I would still not come on here. So I also want to say, I want to thank Radar New Jersey, aka Ray, because Ray actually caught the offensive comments that were put on my last live stream. I didn't see it because Jason and I were driving through Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. The signal was sketchy and it didn't pick up those comments. So thank God I didn't even read them, because stuff like that does affect me and it stays with me. You know, I wish that it didn't. It would be great to say, you know, that I'm so tough that that stuff doesn't affect me, but it does affect me. And what I find to be very strange is that we're going through Suicide Awareness Month, and, you know, I find myself in the middle of all this. Now, I just want to say I'm fine. I can take care of myself, for goodness sake. If I find myself getting to the point where those thoughts are going through my head, I reach out. I've got nurse friends and I have a good support system, and I reach out to them and ask for prayer, and they basically just come around me, find out what's triggering things, what's going on, and we circle the wagons, and they understand where I'm at. It's called mental illness. You know, regular, everyday, normal people walking around everywhere deals with mental illness. I do not have diabetes. I do not have heart disease, although they watch me for it because it runs in my family. I do not have cancer. I have what they've diagnosed me with PTSD, because I've been through a lot of SHIT, a lot, and also anxiety disorder. So sometimes the anxiety disorder thing can trigger the other stuff. There's some other diagnoses there that it's not important right now, but needless to say, you know, I'm okay right now. Okay, so I went to see Miss Evelyn earlier today because Miss Evelyn is in Tennessee right now. Woohoo! She is the one. Michael, really? I'm gonna have to think up a good acronym for that. That's hilarious. So Miss Evelyn is up to see her kids and spend some time with her kids. She is the one that's in Florida that I went to see, and today we did actually make plans for me to come down there, hopefully, and spend a week. Right at this moment, I do not know if it's going to be the beginning of November or in December after the grandbaby's born. It most likely will be in December after the grandbaby's born, because I need time to plan all that stuff. And also, most likely, I'll be gone for an entire week, because when I go down there, I'm just going to go down there and spend time with her, because I don't want to get into the intricacies of it all, because it's her private life. But she has a flower bed down there. I've told you guys about this before. She wants some rocks from East Tennessee to go around her pond, and she's going to get that, and I'm going to take it down there. Now, I did think that it was going to be Jason and I going, but it's not. It's probably just going to be me unless one of my boys were to go with me. I'd love to find some heart rocks, Ray. It'll be rocks from my heart, you know. But she also talked to me about weeding her flower bed, and I said, well, heck, why don't I just clean your house while I'm at it, you know? And since my bills are so small, they're not too much, she's like, well, I'll just pay, and she said a certain amount that would pay my bills for a month. I said, you got it. You got it. So anyway, the plan is to go down there probably the first 2 weeks of December or sometime in that. She wanted me to come for 2 weeks. Well, I may take her some seeds, but the thing is, you can't grow East Tennessee plants in Florida. They just don't. You can some, but not too many. Her butterfly, it's actually her entire backyard is made up of this flower bed, and it's a butterfly flower bed, and cool. Anyway, so I'm going to be taking rocks down there to put around her pond. She has a small pond. Miss Evelyn is on oxygen, and she's frustrated with the way things are right now in her life, and I really feel for her, but I absolutely loved sitting on that deck down there in Pigeon Forge under the huge trees and listening to her talk about her life. It was quite amazing. Before that, we went to Bush's. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Bush's Baked Beans and Duke the dog. We went to Bush's and had a very lovely lunch. Yeah, I actually have a video of her garden, and she has not seen it yet. I tried to share it with her, but what I have to do is get on my laptop and actually look that video up, because it will not come up on my phone. So when I get that video, I will share that video. I kept it private because it is her backyard, but I think she would be okay with it, and I would definitely send you pictures. All of the plants in that butterfly garden are Florida native species. They're made for butterflies. But anyway, I was telling you something. I can't remember what I was telling you now. So I can share seeds with her, but I'm not sure they'll grow down there. It depends on what it is, really. So I want to go see her as much as I possibly can. As many times as I can. And she wanted me to stay 2 weeks, but I just can't. I know my brain won't let me stay down there 2 weeks. I had a hard enough time staying up in New Jersey as long as I did. I literally left one day early, Ray can tell you. And speaking of that, actually, Ray and I have been talking about another trip to New Jersey. He had talked about flying, but I'm so fond of driving, and I know it's a long drive. It's a whole day's drive. Oh, I hate those toll roads, though. But I was going to say, I want to drive up there. You know, I may drive up there and just avoid the toll roads. I know Ray's probably laughing right now, but it is what it is. I hate those toll roads. I hate them. So, anyway, I think I had a train of thought going there, and I just kind of forgot what it was. Everybody that prays. Oh, okay. Michael's on his way back to Florida. One day, Michael's going to be on my live stream with me. I know it. Everybody that prays, please be in prayer for Miss Evelyn and her family. If you don't mind. And I'm very serious about that. So, and you can pray for me too. Speaking of prayer, I just recently started back to, well, I'm not going to the church, but I'm going to a Beth Moore Bible study with the ladies at Cornerstone Church. It's just around that curve down there. And they were the ladies that supported me when my son's daddy left, my sons and I. My sons were 10 and 11 when he left. I couldn't find a job because I had felony convictions from when I was 18 years old. And in the state of Tennessee, you have that for lifetime, so I couldn't find a job. So I started cleaning houses, and that's what I've been doing since then. But anyway, I was telling you that for a reason too, and I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. It's been a long day. But anyway, Mike and Evelyn have been in my life since then. It's been a long haul. Oh yeah, the ladies at the church. Thank you. One of the guys that I see, I had my flip-flops on, and he looked at my feet and he said, "Girl, you need to paint those toes. You looking like you got man feet." I almost smacked him. So I decided I was going to paint my nails today. But anyway, oh, those ladies, hey Tony, how you doing? So those ladies at Cornerstone Church are great. They're a great support system, and I've been going there for that Bible study for 2 weeks now. Good. I'm glad you're doing okay, Tony. And that's going really well. I don't really go to that church in Pigeon Forge now just because it's so far away, and they kind of took a direction that it's just not me. So, I don't know. I drove by there today on my way back. Hope you guys don't mind me putting my hair up because it's flipping hot. But, I looked over there and I was like, oh, because I kind of miss going over there. I may actually go visit. I don't know. I love that church. I just don't. They come up under Bethel Church in California, which is great, but I'm just not all into some of the stuff Bethel's into. I mean, not that they're wrong about it or anything. I don't know. I just do my own thing. Speaking of doing my own thing, I'm continuing to gather block at my property, railroad ties. I'll be getting some of those. I'll be getting some landscaping ties. I'm gathering material to build because I need to build a storage building for the winter in case I decide to pull the camper out and take it for a ride somewhere. I don't want to have all the weight in the back of my camper. I don't want to put any more on Larry than I have to. Speaking of that, another guy that I see, they're friends of mine. Yes, I guess so, Ray. Another friend of mine, he just got an F350 diesel, which is awesome. And it's huge. I had to climb up into that thing. That's actually what I wanted to get originally. I was kind of stuck between a Dodge and an F350. It's really what I wanted to get, but I wasn't able to because Jack was like, "Don't get a diesel. You don't want a diesel." And I was like, "Yes, I want a diesel. I want to hear that really loud whine from the engine when I take off, I don't know what it is in me, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I'm all female, don't get me wrong, but I'm all about some diesel trucks now. The bigger the better. And actually down in Pigeon Forge, they've got a big diesel truck thing going on right now. I think it costs like $20 to get in there. But I really wanted to go, and I was trying to talk somebody that I see into going, but I think he got busy. Just a girl thing. Yeah, we like those big trucks now, I'm just going to tell you. If I have to climb up into that baby, I'm in love. From the first time I drove one of those trucks, which was actually at Cornerstone Church. Awesome, Michael. That sounds good to me. We need to ride that thing. Yeah, but the first time I drove one of those big diesel trucks, it was actually over at Cornerstone Church, like after church, or maybe it was right before church. one of the pastor's sons had just bought one. I was like, let me drive that thing, please. And at the time, I had a flipping minivan. You know, I got in that truck, and I drove that thing around the parking lot, and I was like, God, will you please give me a big truck? Well, Larry's pretty big. He's not huge or anything, but he's big enough for now. Yeah. I used to actually have one of those emblems, the Peterbilt emblems, Michael, that my dad, I don't know, maybe it was a belt buckle. I loved that thing. When I was very young, I wanted to drive a big truck. Like, I wanted to be a truck driver. I seriously did. So, before it gets too awful dark, I want to tell you guys, next week I'll be doing the live, unless something bad happens. Oh. Oh, really? Wow. I don't know if you guys can read all these comments, but Michael's talking about tearing up a rear end and driving a rental Jeep Cherokee. And Tony said if it doesn't blow out black smoke, then take it back. I totally agree. I love going to truck pulls and watching those diesel trucks, man. There's nothing like that. But yeah, I wanted to be a truck driver. I really did. I'm sure my mom and dad wondered about me, you know. I liked boys. So, I mean, you know, I was a daddy's girl. What can I say? But, of course, I mean, it works to my benefit because I have to handle all this man stuff, you know. It's just part of who I am. And I was probably telling you guys, oh, yeah, next week, that's funny. You guys are funny. Next week, I'm going to come at 6 o'clock rather than 7 because it's going to start getting dark and I don't want to be out in the dark trying to do a live stream. So I'm going to step it down as we get closer to winter. Hey, James. Hey, James, when I come to Florida, I want us to meet up down there, okay? I mentioned that in one of the comments that you put on my video today. I know you're across the state, so I think we need to make some kind of an arrangement. I'm flipping. I told you guys. Always like out of camera, I'm doing something. Hey, I'm all for that, Michael. I would love to drive a truck. Actually, I really would like to drive the RVs back and forth from where they make them to the dealerships. I would love to do that. I'm really going to have to find some other employment. As much as I love the people that I'm cleaning for, and I wouldn't let go of everybody, I have got to do something else. Okay, I will. I think I actually have your phone number, James. Yes, I do have your phone number in my phone. So when I make the final arrangements to go to Florida, we will plan actually, let's just plan a get-together because Michael is in Florida and Chris is not on here tonight. Chris is in Florida. There's somebody else, and I've actually got his phone number. Dono, is that your name? I think I saw you on here earlier. Okay, let's just plan a meetup in Florida. When we get closer to the time, and I actually, yes, that's a great idea. Yes, yeah, okay. I thought you were in Florida. Is it Dino or Dino? I thought you were in Florida, but anyway, I have several people down there in Florida that follow the channel. Okay, when I get the actual dates that I'm going to be going down there, I will share that information and we will find a place near there. Mike and Evelyn are sort of near the A1A. Am I saying that right? That highway that goes down the beach and everything. And there's some awesome Mexican restaurants there. I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that. You know, it'd be cool, Ray. It'd be cool if you could drive down here from New Jersey and then go on down to Florida with me. I don't know how arrangements that we could make, because you don't even know Mike and Evelyn. I'd hate to drag somebody to their place that they don't even know. It'd be bad. That'd be bad. But anyway, yeah, we need to do that. We need to just plan like a meetup there. Well, Eddie, I didn't have to pay a toll to get on that. It was just by the ocean. It just ran through Vero Beach. We went from Vero Beach down to Port St. Lucie on that. I thought it was A1A. Jason's the one that knows about that. But it would be really cool if we could do the meetup thing, and you guys could actually, that'd be cool if some of you guys could go with me to take the rocks into Miss Evelyn's backyard, because it's not like I can drive my truck back there. Like, the house blocks the entrance to the backyard. I just wouldn't want them to feel... Hey, I was born in 73, Eddie. You better watch what you're saying. Anyway, I don't want to, like, crowd them with a bunch of people. You know what I mean? I mean, they're private people. But they do work with the Habitat for Humanity down there. Mike does. He does all kinds of work with Habitat for Humanity. And that's how I met him. When I was getting my Habitat house, Mike was the one that was in charge, because the site supervisor actually passed away. And at my house, if you go back in my videos to where I'm showing you my house, there is a dogwood in the front yard. They planted that in honor of the site supervisor that passed away when they were building my house. The reason why I originally started getting the desire to sell my house is because I was extremely depressed there, because my family had been there. I still am not over the breakup of my family. I've got no lie to tell you. Michael, I am actually going to go through Daytona Beach to go down to Vero Beach. Because my cousin Donna is in Daytona, and I will definitely be going. It actually might benefit me to take 2 weeks to go down there, because my cousin Donna is in Daytona Beach, and I can actually stay there for a little bit. So that might be a doable thing. It would actually be really good for me to get away from here for a while. As much as I love people, I've got a history in this town, and there have been a lot of people on my Facebook friending me. I accept almost all friend requests, but I found out that some of those people are actually wanting... I mean, my Facebook is public, but there are some jealous women in this town that are giving me issues. Well, they're not really doing anything except kind of stalking me. Does that make any sense? And that's part of what I've not been talking about with this depression thing, because I have a horrible temper. And when I first found out about one of them, I literally drove around this town for 2 hours trying to calm myself down. And because I went through an abusive situation to where I really couldn't do anything to stop what was going on in the situation unless I left it. And it took me 4 years to get out of that situation. I couldn't leave it. Like, I would leave it, but it came back after me, and I don't want to get into that too much, but I was in one of those situations, and I can't describe what it does to you mentally to go through that kind of hell on a day-to-day basis, except you can look at me now and know, like I was telling my counselor, I can't just have an issue with a person and just be like all up in their face and tell them off. everything in me wants to absolutely get rid of the threat, and that can be very dangerous. And I don't want to be that kind of person. And she totally gets that, you know. I mean, she understands because I can tell her about the situation I went through. But I just need to get out of this town more, a little bit more. Yes, they are busybodies. They're worse than busybodies. I promise you. And the situation I was in was prominent in this town, in a way, because I was in ministry. So I really don't want to get into it any more than that. It was just a really bad situation. And needless to say, my reputation was the one that got trashed. And that is going to happen when people have they're in positions and they don't want to lose their good standing and they don't want to lose their good name. Of course they're going to push everything over onto the other person, especially the way I am. I just really feel like God will defend me, so I kind of take a back seat on things. And I guess internalizing all of that has also turned me into somebody I don't want to be, because I don't know how to explain it. And all of that is wrapped up in what's going on right now. So yeah, a trip to Florida, 2 weeks, heck, freaking yeah, that's what I need. That would be great. So that'd be really awesome. And we might just do a meetup down there. I think you know me, Ray. I think you really do. I would hurt myself before I hurt anybody else. But I don't know. There's just something in me right now that's just like, I guess that situation, you know, we normally have fight or flight. I don't have fight or flight right now. I have fight or fight. And that's it. And I don't want to be that person, because you know, if God ever put me back in a ministry situation, I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I want people to understand that I can relate to them, you know. So, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I've just got stuff, you know. Everybody has stuff, but I just don't hide it. I just don't. And I'm not going to, because there's too many people out there that need to see real. You know, that definitely in church, there are people that need to see real. Like, I'm tired of going into church and it being quiet as a mouse. People sitting there with a big smile plastered on their freaking face when I know good and well they've got issues. Definitely, I think so. And I think you need to come part of that time, Ray. I think you really do. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. If Chris were on here, which he's not, I get his name mixed up, but it's Phantom Rider Chris. Yes. Yeah. I agree with that, Michael. I do. But my mind has a trip switch in it. And when people get in my face, I don't think anything about that scripture you just shared. The only thing I think is, I'm gonna mess you up. That's what I think. It just gets bad. It gets really bad. It gets really bad. Because I'm still processing things. And that's what they call PTSD. I could get in a situation with somebody. For instance, I used to work on a zip line. I was on a tower that checked everybody's harness and sent them to the next tower. Well, I was training someone on the tower. He was an older gentleman, and he meant nothing by it really, but we were talking or whatever, and he put his hand, you know, right here on my ribs, sort of on my side, a little bit lower, and I turned around and hit him in the stomach, full on, full fisted. Hit him in the stomach faster than he could know what was going on. And as soon as it happened, I was like, Oh my gosh. No, I don't need a good squirrel. I tell you what I am capable of, though. I am capable of keeping myself to myself on my property, and I spend my time on my property. I stay away from this town unless I have to do clothes. I don't get around the people unless it's people that I love, like Miss Evelyn, and just people that I know are not going to trigger me. Certain people groups, I go around them just fine. I can go to Cornerstone Church just fine, you know, to the Bible study. But I just stay away from the majority of people in this town. I never intended to be sitting up on that property anyway. I got that property to sit there 3 days out of the week, clean some houses, and then go on the road Thursday through Monday. That was the plan. But that's not what's happened. And, you know, God has his own timing. He's getting me there, but I'm not there yet. Like, I'm getting ready to take this dash out of this truck. You know what I'm saying? To change the heater core. You guys, any of you guys can come to Tennessee and help me do that. That'd be lovely. Actually, there's somebody on my Facebook offering to do that. I can't remember his name, and he's like, "I'll come help you do that." I could hear his southern accent in his writing. It was cool. Yeah, so click on that. Oh, the like arrow. Ray, that's not an arrow. It's a thumb. Yes, if you guys click that thumbs up, it really helps my channel, you know. Like if you watch my videos and you share them or you subscribe or you hit the thumbs up, it really helps my channel. My channel is not growing very quickly, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Because right now I get to interact with all of you guys, people, all of you, and it's wonderful. If it got to the point where there were 700 comments on a video, that, wow, would be extreme. You know, so I don't know if any of you guys follow Dustin Porter. His channel is Destination Adventure, and he's kind of afraid, you know, for me to be talking about us being such good friends, but we are good friends. We're great friends. And behind the scenes, I've become friends with some of the YouTubers. But anyway, his channel is Destination Adventure. Feel free to go over there and check it out. He's up over 8,000 subscribers. And he tries to interact with a lot of them and everything. And we've talked about that, but you just cannot respond to that many people. Yes, it does. What is a mad dash party? I have no clue what that is. Well, Dustin video called me the other day on WhatsApp. You can video call people, and he video called me. And I've mentioned him on my videos several times. Actually, when I was down in Florida, I went down to Fort Lauderdale to meet him in person. It was the most amazing thing. One of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life. I felt like I was walking straight up to my best friend, because he is one of my best friends. I can tell you guys right now, Michael is one of my best friends, and Ray is one of my best friends. So that's what YouTube can do in your life. But anyway, Dustin video called me, and he was in Fiji Islands. Fiji Islands, if you can believe that. Yes. As far as I understand, you have to remove the dash to get to the heater core in this truck. I've looked up videos on it because I always have to do my homework before I start working on my truck. It would be wonderful if I could just take that glove compartment out and reach the heater core. That would be flipping amazing. Yes, it would. So if you could find a video saying that I can do that, share it with me. I would love that. Wow. Speaking, you know, it's amazing. I can sit right here and have an ex-husband like pass right in front of me. Wow. Anyway, also want to tell you guys that I got together with the ladies that I used to have a Friday night fellowship in my home. It was a ministry. I pastored it for 3 years. We got together, me and two of the other ladies. That it wasn't just women, but they were like the backbone of the Friday night fellowship. Right along with me, they ministered, and we met last night in her garage, and one of my friend's garages. Literally, my furniture from my house that everybody from the fellowship used to sit on was what we were sitting on. We have lost 3 people last year. 3 people that used to go to the fellowship. They were my best friends. And here we were sitting on this furniture, right? It was difficult. My wedding gown was hanging right over in front of me. The marriage that I was in when I went through everything I went through was hanging over there. And my living room rug was right over the floor. And it was like trigger after trigger after trigger. And yet we were sitting there, and I just really did not know how to process that. I was like, wow, because I have removed myself so far from that life that it's like it never existed, but there I was sitting in it. And that furniture that I had a pastor from Africa. I hosted a pastor from Africa. We did a dinner for him in my home. He pronounced a blessing over my ministry and stuff, and he went to a lot of these churches around here and ministered, but he came to my home personally. He was a pastor to me. You're funny, Eddie. You need to come up and help me. So, I don't know about that, Michael. I don't know. It sounds like the heater core is really gone. I want to replace the entire coolant system from the heater core on out. Like all the hoses. Maybe even the radiator. Larry, I just want to take good care of him, you know. I also hosted a pastor from India that continues to this day. No. What? I didn't understand that. But the pastor from India continues to ask me to come over and do crusades, because I do have an ordination and all that. I mean, I could marry people or bury people, but I don't do that stuff. It's not what I'm called to do. Anyway, also a pastor from South Africa. He's actually an Indian man, but they inhabited Southwest Africa. So, and my ministry seemed really small. I say mine, but it's really God's ministry. But, you know, we hosted 20, 25 people at a time in my little tiny living room. My house was like 900 something square feet. It wasn't even 1,000 square feet. And we had some major meetings at that place. We had people calling in prayer requests. We would put them on speaker. We would get together. We also had some people, we'd get together and go straight to their house. We had some deathbed experiences where people called, and a handful of us would go out and do that. It was pretty major ministry at the time. But anyway, I'm not going to go over to India and do a crusade, because my life is like, right now. During the time that I was feeling extremely suicidal 2 weeks ago, I had to pour out my Fireball, people, because you can't have stuff like Fireball and vodka around when you're having suicidal thoughts. It just doesn't go together. You see how dark it is right now? Next week we are definitely I'm going to be doing this at 6. I understand that many of you will still be working, or you'll be having dinner, and I'm so sorry about that. I really don't know any other time during the week to do this. Eventually, down in the middle of winter, probably go on down to 5 o'clock, although it's going to be getting dark then, so we'll just have to change it as we go. So, just ride along, I guess. I also want to tell you guys, I'm overwhelmed by the computer situation. My computer, the memory is just ate up. I know that I need to erase a lot of video clips and things like that, but it takes a long time. I also have 2 cameras. One of them has a very full SD card, and the GoPro app is telling me that I have to pay a certain amount every month just to use the app, coordinated with my Joey. I'm not doing that. I don't know how I'm going to get around that, but I will be, okay, I ain't going to say that. Okay, I'm trying not to cuss. I am not going to do that. So I've got to find a way around that. You could just, you can, Michael. I don't know what you're talking about. You'll have to, we'll have to call and talk about that, because I don't know. None of the videos that I've just seen videos about changing the heater core. I really don't want to bypass my heater core. I'd rather just go ahead and put a new one on there. And it's time for the hoses on this truck to be changed. This is a 2008. Those hoses are original. They have those original clamps. I've got to change those, you know. I'm also probably going to, yeah, exactly. I'm also going to put that sealant on my roof probably tomorrow. I'm not doing a video about it. I am not a how-to channel. You're not going to see a video of me telling you how to do this stuff, because I'm going to be doing it and that's it. I'm done. I don't, like when I was putting my water heater in, no, there's no way I'm going to set up a camera while I'm in the middle of trying to get these seized fittings off. No way. I wish I could. That'd be wonderful, but that's just not me. So it's getting dark, guys. It's getting dark, and probably going to have to get off here. Well, I don't know, Eddie. My preaching is pretty stout. Not stout, but I've got 26 years of Bible study, hardcore, intense research Bible study in here. But at this time, I really don't feel, I don't want to say worthy, but I'm just not there right now. I'm really not. Last night I did talk to the women a little bit to try to get their, to try to feel out what God's doing in their lives and stuff like that. But other than that, not right now. I actually had an idea for a YouTube channel called My Mini Ministry, and I thought about that. Yeah, Michael, that's actually what I wanted to do. I did want to get an external hard drive, because doing video editing on that computer is just not gonna, it's just, I don't know. Pray about it. I gotta figure it out. But it's getting dark, guys. You can see we're losing the light here. It's almost an hour. I really enjoyed spending time with you guys. It's been therapeutic for me. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on here and spending an hour of your Saturday night with me. That's amazing. I love you guys. I really do. When I tell you in your text that I love you, I really do. I do. But I appreciate you guys coming on, and you're welcome. I appreciate you spending the time with me. I really do. I just want to say this. It's good to hear from you too. I just want to say this. Be very aware of the people around you. Don't hesitate to ask them if there's something wrong or something you can help them with. Let me tell you something. The biggest way to stop a suicide is to listen to someone. Give them an ear. That's all they need. They need somebody to talk to. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Everybody, save a life. Make it your point. Make it your point to look for people. It's only going to get worse. Thanks, James. I really appreciate it. Make it your point to look for people. looking at me, would you honestly think that I was suicidal? Would you? You know, think about it. You could save a life. Okay, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I'll be putting out videos this week. I'm going to get back to it. I got to work out the kinks with these phones and computers and crap, but just be patient. I hope you have a wonderful night, okay? I'm going to hop off here. I'll talk to you soon.